welcome back to my channel. My name is Steph, and if you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, thank you so much. So, we're having a little bit of mood lighting, convenient for this video, but stay tuned to see what we're getting ourselves into. I have a fun, very different video today. I had the chance to get an intuitive reading done, which is something I've never done before. It's actually something that kind of scared me for a long time. I don't know, I've watched a lot of horror movies, so I've always thought of, like, you know, finding out something like my death, something that I never wanted to know, but no, it's not at all like that. I had the chance to be gifted a reading from Nicole Leffer, and you can head to her website if you want to know more about her. She's amazing, and she also runs a chocolate company because chocolate, but she is so kind, and we actually, sorry, I'm pulling off hair, we actually met over Facebook, and it came into this natural lead to this intuitive reading. So I wanted to share my experience with you. She was so kind to do it for free, and I wanted to share it. And it is totally all my opinions. I really want to share this with you because it's something that impacted me, and I know it's something that a lot of people genuinely are interested in, so I wanted to share my experience. I'm blabbering, I haven't been on the camera in a while. So without further ado, let's get on to my experience. Love how we got some sporty spice action going on here. Okay, so Nicole, I'm reading it because I don't want to get it wrong. Nicole is a spiritual coach and intuitive based in Atlanta. So she calls anywhere. I'm located in Ontario, and she called me, so she does travel on the phone. She's incredible. You can follow her on Instagram. She does a lot of traveling and a lot of mindfulness and stuff like that. It's very positive and very leading and very helpful if you're trying to do self-growth and all of that really important stuff. But I'm going to take you on to my experience. So she was lovely from the start, but I got the chance to speak to her the day of the reading. So typically readings are around 45 to 75 minutes. Sometimes they go longer, but she's very conscious of people's time, and that's what I really appreciated. So when we got on the phone, she asked me if I was ready, and she made me feel very comfortable. She made it so we could have a moment to get introduced and then go on to it. And what I loved is she knew what she was talking about. So you could tell that she was very passionate and that she has experience, because she was giving me instructions and letting me know how we're going to go through this and what it's going to look like. So, and if I've ever done this before. So she took it step by step and made me feel very comfortable and very ready to go into this situation and not scared at all, because, you know, I was a little bit scared. It was something new for me. So I have, you know, the typical anxieties. But yeah, it was very cool going into that. I wasn't sure what to expect, and so we went into it. And something I do want to note is she's very adamant that she doesn't want to know anything about you. She doesn't want to know questions ahead of time. She doesn't want you to tell her things about you. She really wants it to be like she's first meeting you and she's getting to know you as you talk. So she knew very little about me. She knew some about me because we had talked previously, and she knew I was in the YouTube space. And so I didn't tell her a lot about me, and a lot of the things she did talk about were things I've actually never really discussed on my social medias, or, I don't know, touched on to an extent. So I'm gonna share with you some of my results. So typically an intuitive reading with her starts off as you will do either a prayer or set an intention that she can find these answers for your highest success, and she knows the wording down pat. She's very good at what she does, and I just want you guys to know I'm not like talking her up, because she did do this reading for free. I genuinely walked into my mom's room like screaming. I was so excited. I felt so empowered after this reading. So I feel like she did an amazing job, and I think she's very good at what she does. So I've always been really honest with you guys, and I just want you to know I get very excited, and I tend to really want to support the people that do a really good job. So that is what happened. I don't know why I'm so yellow today. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, that was a good transition. So I did take notes, but she does record the session if that's okay with you as well, so you can listen to it later. But I always suggest taking notes. Like too, she mentions that some things that come in are literal and some things are figurative, and you kind of discuss it together to figure it out. So I will take you through my results because it was amazing, and I just want to share with you some of the depths that she goes to. I think it's very interesting, and I'd totally be interested to hear like how other people's results went. But it's funny, the first thing we discussed, like the first thing was education. And I've been out of university for almost 4 or 5 years, and education has always been a tricky subject for me. I've always wondered if I should go back or if I should just continue pursuing, and then I went for a really long time that I don't need school, I can start these things on my own. And it was funny, the first thing she said to me was about education and that I needed to go back. And one thing that really, really hit me was she talked about how brilliant I was. But in all honesty, I'm very, very hard on myself, and I constantly talk myself down. So to hear that from somebody else who doesn't really know me, and this is coming from like a higher power, I don't know, it brought a sense of calm to me, and it was really, really nice to hear. And it just brought a level of like confidence that I didn't have. I mean, I saw my days, but it was nice to hear that, like, because you know when you hear it from your friends and your family, you're like, yeah, whatever, you're just saying that because like you love me. But like when you hear it from someone else, it kind of like clicks in your brain, I guess. So we talked about education and how I should really go back, and I don't want to touch too much into it because it is my own results, but it was very interesting that education would bring me higher success and bring me to where I'm going, and I've never really thought of it like that. And I don't know, it was just interesting, like all of these details, she was picking up things that I've never talked about. Like I made a video a long time ago about why I left university, but this was all the reasons that she was saying, like, you're not really nervous to go back due to like the workload, it's more of the time and the finances it would take. And I'm just like, holy smokes, like it was crazy. And then one big thing she moved on to after that was how I always hold myself back. And this is something I haven't really touched on, actually. I talk about a lot of mental health on my channel, but I never really talked about how I hold myself back a lot. Like fear is it's a very big controller for me, and I don't know why I'm sitting so weird. Let me just readjust. But fear is a very big controller for me, and she mentioned it like very early on, how I hold myself back, and I'm a very like big hinder of fear. And I think if I let that go, I could go very far. It's still something I'm working on, but it was very, very interesting that she could pick that up. I have to be honest, a lot of the time before I did this, I was very skeptical. I was very skeptical of the process and how it worked, but like she blew me away, I'm telling you. And something like in the symbolic world, because the school is very literal, but in the symbolic world, she mentioned she saw like an image of a girl holding a snow globe, and at first she thought it was literal, like it was a memory, but actually it turned out to be me really kind of like always feeling like I was on the outside looking in. All my life I felt very much like I don't fit in, like I've never been one of the popular girls, or I've never just like been able to fully be accepted in a mold. And not that you need to, being different is very important and very okay, but I've always felt kind of out of the loop and disconnected, and that was something she picked on too, and it was amazing how an image told such a story. I don't know, it was very cool to me. And we also touched on like social media a bit. I came across Pinterest being very successful for me, so it's actually kind of changed the way I've looked at my content and like how I'm formulating it, and I'm trying to put more time and energy back into it and try new things and new avenues and really try to branch out. So I thought it was interesting how it looped back to that too. And it's funny because she actually talked about like boys, and she actually pictured like my boyfriend, and I was like, what? Really? Because I've been single as hell. No. But it was very interesting. Like, she described it, and she described like me having to let my guard down a little bit and like take that step and be more forward, which is something I struggle a lot with. But it was like, girl, you need to do it. And it was very interesting because that is something that has been a big part of my life for such a long time. Like, I've really always in high school, I was the friend who was single, and I really just wanted to be that friend that had the boyfriend, and it never really happened to me. So yeah, it's been like a big part of my life. I've always imagined relationships and like how that closeness between people and like having your person, I've really, I don't know, made an image in my head. So it's funny that that came up, and it was like, girl, you need to like be a little more forward. And I was like, I know. It's very cool too, because she, in the beginning, she doesn't let you ask any questions because she wants to like get started and kind of not have anything that would block or intercept. So you go on, and then she stops when the moment is right and lets you answer or ask any questions that you may have. So before the session, it's good to like probably write a little bit down. So I did, and a lot of them were answered, which is very amazing to me because I actually had no idea what to ask. Like, I panicked and I was like, what do you even ask? So I Googled, and then I took inspiration from the Google answers. So I didn't really take the Google answers. I just like formulated my own from that, and most of them were answered, and I was like, what? So when I was looking at my questions, I was like, what do I ask? And since we were on the topic of like relationships and boys and stuff, I asked, what are the best people for me? Because I've had a lot of trouble with friendships in my life. So I'm like, girl, I need direction. Help me. So it was very interesting. She said different people for different situations. And that's something that my mom and sister have very much told me many, many times. Like, if I was ever having problem with a friend, they're like, this is the friend that you do this with, and this is the friend that you do that with. Not every friend can be all things, which that was kind of like, yes, you're reminding me, I'm getting it. And it was very, very funny. It talked about the fact that I need a role model and like a mentor, and someone who's close to my age, and somebody who really respects my aspirations and really wants to see me succeed. And I was like, how interesting. Like, that's always been something I've wanted, someone to learn from, and somebody to be completely like transparent with, and somebody who's taken the steps that I'm trying to take, because I'm very much a person that like, I don't know, I'm a visual learner, but having somebody who's gone through the ropes who can help me and help me understand and help to direct me. Sometimes in this media world, it's very hard to know like where to go and if you're doing the right thing. So to have somebody who's taken the ropes already to help you, I thought that was exceptionally cool. And to have her broach on that, it was like something I've really never discussed. So it was like, whoa. And it was something I really wanted to look forward to. And she said, you need to be able to let go of some people to be able to let these people in. And I've always had a very, very hard time in letting people go. I'm very much that person that would rather hurt than hurt, because it just makes me feel terrible. But sometimes it's necessary if you want to live your best life. So it was very interesting. It was a good reminder for me. But something I think I'm gonna end with this because it was such like a flick of the switch, like holy moly fluffagus. Ow. Like this was the moment where I was like, wow, like she blew me away. So if you guys don't know, I am gluten-free, dairy-free. I have a lot of problems with rice and potatoes and all of that. I have a lot of inflammation problems, and I'm a huge stress eater, and I've been very bad lately with my allergies. I've been cheating, I've been eating like crap because I've just been feeling like crap, so all of that just like ties in together, and we're talking, and she's like, I see something about nutrition, and this came up because I asked what I can do to de-stress in my life, which is something I need help with. And she immediately was like, nutrition. And she was like, do you stress eat? And I was like, absolutely. And she's like, that is not a good thing. And she's like, I literally see, take that shit out of your mouth. And I was like, that is very, very key and something I'm trying to do. I've known this for a long time, that nutrition and my mental health go hand in hand, and sometimes when you're feeling like crap, you just want to eat like a big bag of chips, and it's very not good for me because the inflammation affects everything, and it affects my mental health, my anxiety, all of that. So I knew this, and she was like, getting my nutrition in order and under control will have a huge impact on my mental state. And I was like, yes. And then she went in and asked if I had any hormonal issues, which was very interesting because I do. I struggle with hormones a lot, and it's not something I've really talked about other than my acne. Like, there's so much more to hormonal issues than just acne. So it was very interesting. She immediately like went to that, and she's like, food is causing your hormonal imbalances. And I was like, and she's like, it's really stressing you out. And I'm like, yes, it is. And she just touched on how I need to make nutrition a priority, and it will kind of all lead to like a happier life. Like, I will feel better about myself, my mental health will improve. So it was very interesting because it was things I knew, but to hear somebody else say it who doesn't really know those deep, dark hormonal issues about me, it was very interesting. And to hear someone to say, like, literally get that shit out of your mouth, it was like, I know I have to. And it's still something I'm struggling with, and I really need to make it a priority. So even doing this video was a great reminder of like what we talked about and what I need to work on. And it was just very cool to hear things like you're intelligent and you have a really strong mind, and that you really want to go places, and that you need to put yourself first. And these are all things I don't really say to myself, and that I really needed somebody who wasn't my family to say, because I'm the type of person who very much looks for other people's approval, and I just need to start accepting myself and seeing the good things in myself. So this is a great reminder that, you know, these things are true, and I'm not narcissist for thinking them. It's good health, and I need to start taking them seriously. So it was very cool to have this experience. And it was funny because she was like, you need to like loosen up a little bit. Like, I'm seeing a lot of like stress and control, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, my mom always tells me like, you need to drink more. And it's funny because like, I'm a very serious person, and my OCD is very like controlling, so it makes me serious, but I'm just like, I'm 22, I need to have a little bit more fun in my life. So that was also funny. She told you things that you wanted to hear and that you needed to hear, which is very important, because sometimes you can just hear what you want to hear and it doesn't do anything. But she told me things like, I need to step on my comfort zone, I need to start taking myself seriously, like things that are harder to hear, that things that you do that are not great, like eating shit. Things you really needed to hear to improve yourself. And you can tell that she finds your well-being very important. And I said to her at the end of the session how amazing it was and how thankful I am that she gave me this opportunity and that we got to do this. And she said it's one of her greatest joys to hear people's experiences and like hear how it's helped them. And you can just tell she really, really cares about what she does and the people that she helps. And I don't know, I could see a very good person there, and she was a pleasure to work with because it was a very good experience for me. I learned a lot about myself, and I'm still learning a lot about myself, but it was a good way to just, it gave me a sense of peace that I was going the right way, because I even asked her, I'm like, am I on the right path? And she's like, that's a hard one, but she's like, you have been doing excellent at discovering yourself. And it was just like a wash of relief over me that, you know, I am going towards something. And I don't know, it just gives you a sense of faith, because life is scary. There's so many decisions. You never know if you're making the right one. So it was just a way to be like, to give me some hope and to give me something to look forward to and to keep striving to better myself. So overall, it was an amazing experience, and I just wanted to come on here and share some things with you. If you want to know more about my experience, you can always message me on social media. After I had this, I was like posting on my stories like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing ever. And definitely go check her out on Instagram. It is Nicole Leffer. I'll put it on the screen. And head to her website, which I'll put on the screen as well. You can find all of her information, her rates, all of that. And you can message her anytime. I'm sure she'd love to talk to you. But yeah, it was an amazing experience, and I'm really glad I got to share something like this with you guys, because I've never done like a story time on my channel before, and I feel like I need to do more of them. And I'm sorry there's so much shadow, but it's kind of like very sunny out. But yeah, I'm really glad I got to have this experience, and honestly, it's because of you guys. You've helped me develop an audience who wants to watch these things and helped me receive these opportunities, and for that I'm so grateful. And I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know, like I really enjoyed it, so I hope you enjoyed it, and definitely let me know if you're going to do an intuitive reading, because I want to know. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I would love it if you gave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe for new videos ahead. Your girl is back after some Steph Miss extravaganza. But yeah, don't forget to follow me on my social medias. I post to Instagram daily, and I love chatting with you guys, and you just guys are my favorite. So I love you so much. I will see you guys next week. Bye.